Hey, what's up, guys? I am here to talk to you guys today about this. And this is the AMM amplified modded SD1. It's a Boss SD1. Pretty much like one of the standard standby pedals of all time. Um, and I'll tell you a little bit about what they did to this. So, a lot of the other videos will tell you that they maxed out these knobs. The output on this thing's insane. Um, you probably definitely want to use a noise gate. I don't know if that's just the amps I'm running it through, but it's super hissy because it's a ton of fucking gain and boost, which is awesome. So anyway, you've got a gain intensity knob here. The higher you turn that, the more you get a intense kind of distortion sound. You can dial it back, and you'll get like that somewhere between like a modded Marshall and um, like imagine like a blue channel on a 5150 boosted with kind of like somewhere in between a clean drive and a TS circuit. That's kind of what you get. The further you turn it up, if you crank this thing all the way up, and particularly when this gain knob is higher, you notice it more. It can be pretty subtle otherwise. You'll get this heavy saturated distortion, but it's not like, it's kind of like the red rev channel, if you had their pedal or any other amps, but it's not as mid-range crunchy as that. It's like more of a kind of a thrashy style super saturated tone, which is awesome. That's just my style. um, you got the thick and the 6 switch on the side, and that's basically just what it sounds like. 6, awesome. Ironically, or interestingly enough, I tried this at the house. I tend to like the sick mode. When I'm playing with this group I play with down the street, I noticed that the settings I use here, and this is common for a lot of people, don't work in a band setting. Um, and I ended up using the thick setting, and it really sat it in the mix better. Whereas the 6 switch, when it's engaged in a band setting, for my setup anyway, actually made it a little too thin. But by itself, when you're just jamming, it sounds great. You know, it gives you that like I said, it's like the ultimate thrash tone, but like modern version of that. I'm going to be running this through an orange micro dark, which is a really kind of fuzzy distortion. We all know orange makes super fuzzy distortion. So I'm going to run it through that and show you how clean and tight it gets it. I mean, it makes it sound, well, you'll see, it's amazing. I'm going to run it through some sims. I'm going to show you what it does. Running through, I have an ID4 which has JFETs, or as Colin over at CGS or whatever calls it, JIFET. Anyway, I'm going to run it through that, and I'll show you like the unboosted amp sim and then boosted amp sim, and then do like a demo track of some stuff with the orange micro dark prior to that. I'll show you what it sounds like by itself. I'll show you what it sounds like with without the gate engaged, and then with the gate engaged, I'll show you some raw tones and some mix ready type stuff. So anyway, hope you guys dig it, and let's get to that. Alright, so I just want to give you guys an idea of like the level of feedback that you get in the noise. So that's with the pedal engaged, that's without. This is with the noise gate. and roughly the tones you get. So this is just with nothing. So pedal engaged. It's badass. So a couple more things I'd really like to say that I like about this pedal, and I've had a lot of other pedals to compare it to. Pretty much all the Revline stuff. I've had, you know, the Aerospec stuff, multiple of their pedals. I've had the KSR, their boost pedal, and their preamps. So a lot of different high-end and boutique stuff to compare this to. But I have to say that this beats all of them. And simplicity of use, and just overall, I mean, the air stuff can be great, but they really gear it more towards people that are playing gent than just standard metal and that sort of thing. You can get decent metal tones out of them, but they honestly don't do what this does. KSR stuff's great, but it's got a certain voice too. That's the great thing about like a 3-knob overdrive pedal. It doesn't give you the options to like completely obliterate your tone or go in a whole different direction than what your amp does and your pickups do and your tone of your guitar does. It just gives you slight tweakability, and it just gets you back into the zone of writing music faster and creating stuff rather than getting caught down a tone rabbit hole that, for all you know, that pedal's Q and EQ curve will never get you anywhere close to what you want. It's just something you're gonna mess around with forever. The other really cool thing is that almost none of the boutique pedals ever give you the ability to run 9-volt. And I know all of us, including myself, we all have a power supply for our pedal board. Right, that's understood. But sometimes you're jumping from one amp to another, or you don't necessarily need every pedal in your arsenal to just sit down and jam, or maybe you got one amp that's on one side of the room, you don't want to move everything over there. It's really nice to be able to have a pedal that runs on 9-volt, even if it does suck a lot of juice, because if you just run into a band practice or something like that and you really just want to bring your overdrive, you're not too worried about your delay and all that stuff for soloing, you can just get away with not doing it if you're not recording. Great to have. One less thing to bring. You don't need your whole pedal board if all you need is your noise gate or your overdrive or whatever it is. I really love that, and I really love the simple 3-knob EQs. They just do the job without getting in your way, and I feel like so much gear paralysis happens these days because of all the stuff that is available to us guitar players now. I mean, compared to what it was when I was a kid, God, it was terrible. So anyway, those are just really great things about this. It just gives you that cut tone right out of the box. Whether you're using passive or active pickups, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of dialing up more or less gain, more or less volume on it, and it's going to give you what you want. So yeah, I really love this thing. It's probably going to be my standard for the foreseeable future, unless AMM makes another mod for it or something like that. But it's just great. And what he did with this, I can only imagine what he does with amps is even better. So I hope these gave you some better sound samples than what's out there right now to kind of like get an idea of what this pedal does. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoy sharing it with you guys. So keep it metal.